Hi guys, and welcome to my Oatlon M3 Nautilus lookalike speakers review. Before we begin, as usual, the description of my system setup used in the listening sessions is in the description for the video below, and you'll also find the store links, the store that I got these ones from, linked there. And one more thing, sorry for the mess over there, the pile in the back are the things that I've already had reviewed, and the pile in the front are the things waiting to be reviewed. Anyway, sorry for the mess. By the way, I'm recording this on Sunday, and on Monday there will be a big sale. I think one of the largest that will be this year on AliExpress, because they have 15th anniversary for the whole AliExpress. So I've seen some coupons as large as $150 that can be used for all of the equipment that I've been reviewing. So if you are planning to buy anything, not only the things that I've reviewed here, but also some kind of tablets, phones or something like that, you can use those coupons, because Ali says that they will be valid for all items they sell. So I'm planning to get some more amplifiers and to make that pile larger. Okay, now getting to the subject. The first thing, the price. And I want you to have that in mind during the whole video review. Asking sale price, so during sales, was $945 for pair. And I was able to get these with coupons and with VAT reduction for European Union for the final price that I've paid, $665 US. In case you can't believe that, you can see it here. Starting price, the price is in my local currency. You have to divide it by 4 to get dollar price, because exchange ratio is like 1 to 4. And this is the final price that I've paid. And the final price is, like I said, $665. So this is the number you should have in mind, $665. Yeah. Okay. Delivery time was 2 months by railroad. The shipment was done by DHL. The speakers were very well protected with very large boxes and many layers of foam inside. What else? I've paid no additional taxes or customs. The shipping was free. It was included in this final $665 price. But as for the shipping, your mileage may vary, because I'm living in EU, European country, so basically they were able to ship those via railroad. If you're living in Australia, in the States, or in other parts of the world, they will need to be delivered by air, and the price may be different. Okay, as you can see, these speakers somewhat use the Bowers & Wilkins Nautilus design. These are called Oatlon M3, and they are using designs from Bowers & Wilkins 800 series. But these are not copies. Let's get that right out of the way. You can never mistake them for the real Bowers & Wilkins Nautilus speakers. They are similar. They are using similar design concepts. They are looking in a similar way, but these are not copies. Again, remember, $665 price tag. These are, according to the manufacturer, 6-ohm speakers with sensitivity in 90 dB range, with recommended amplifier power between 50 watts and 150 watts. The frequency response as given by the manufacturer is between 40 Hz and 20 kHz, although I've seen some of the descriptions for those speakers stating that the lower boundary is around 20 Hz, but 40 Hz is more real-life figure, although I think they are getting slightly lower than 40 Hz. Okay, so the build. We will start with the external build and then we will move to the one lying on the side here to see what's inside. The first thing is the size and weight. These are 75 by 52 by 41 centimeters speakers, so they are quite large, and you have to remember that when you'll be buying them. And the weight is 45 kilograms per pair, meaning that every single one of them is 22.5 kilograms. They are really heavy. Yeah, so the drivers. The first thing, as you can see, we have some. It's mounted on the plastic pegs, no magnet mounts, but it's working fine. It has manufacturer logo, and it's quite large. It shouldn't make any problems with the bus driver, although the edges here are not faced. They are not faced to be like that. Okay, so we have three separate drivers. The bus driver is 8-inch and it's supposed to be carbon fiber driver. The mid-range driver is 5-inch driver and it's Kevlar driver, and the treble driver is silk dome with 1-inch diameter, and you've seen and known that driver from my previous review on the smaller Oatlons. It's exactly the same driver, including the same chassis and the same mount type. Okay, that's about the drivers, and I've covered the size. One of the most important things that they've taken from the design of the Nautilus. It's one, let's call it one speaker, yes, but in fact, in reality, these are three different speakers because they have completely separate chambers. The bus driver is a separate speaker. There is no connection other than the very small hole for the cables leading to the mid-range. The mid-range is also completely separate speaker, and the treble driver is also completely separate speaker. So they should not interfere, and you can treat them as three separate speakers standing one on top of another. There is also a bass reflect port, and it's on the bottom over the bottom plate in here, and it's quite large, as you'll see. Underneath the bottom plate there are three quite nice legs to support the speaker driver. Let's rotate that. It's covered in a real wood veneer. It looks excellent. You can see that it's manual finish because now and then, here and there, you'll see some small imperfections. I don't know if you can see them with the light reflecting over here, but you'll be able to see that the semi-matte silk finish on the black paint here will sometimes have some small scuff marks. Yeah, so let's rotate that. Oh, one more thing. When we're talking about the build, yes, the wide lenses are slightly exaggerating the effect, but here it is. You see, the axle of the mid-range driver goes like this, and the axle of the treble driver goes like that. And in the comments section for my first look video, there was a discussion if this is by design or not. And I think it's not by design, or maybe it is by design, but for a different purpose. The thing is that the explanation that we're discussing in the comments was that the axles may converge in your listening position, but I've checked the angles and they are crossing 1.2 meters in front of the speaker. So it's outside of the frame, but it's still, in my opinion, too close. You won't be sitting 1.2 meters away from such large speaker. You'll be sitting further away. My other explanation is that the off-axis response of the treble driver is slightly lower. So maybe the intended result was to dampen, to lower the treble response for the speaker. That's possibility, and the other possibility is that they just don't care and they have quality problems with mounting of the treble driver. But the thing is that it's very easy to correct, because as you'll see, the treble driver is mounted by 2 Phillips screws to the mid-range driver, and it's very easy to just unscrew them and to use some silicone washers to make the treble driver flat. And the additional benefit of using silicone washers would be disconnecting both chassis for the mid-range and for the treble driver. So yeah, that's the first thing about the build quality. One of the other things that I like to show you before I show you the back of the speaker is another problem with the chassis quality. But bear in mind, $665 for a pair. If you take a look from the top, you may or may not see that the mid-range driver is slightly misaligned with the bass driver. They are not on the same surface. So in case of that particular speaker, you need to rotate the mid-range chassis about, I don't know, 1 or 2 degrees to the right side, to have them both in the same plane. It's a very simple thing to do, because again, as you'll see, the drivers are mounted using Phillips screws, so it takes like 15 minutes to correct that. But it means that they either do not have quality control, or the quality control is lacking. But still, $665. The piano finish on the driver here, it's not exactly mirror-like finish. It's very good, but you can see some dust motes, that's mine, but you also can see some very, very small scratches. And these were like that right out of the box. But I don't really mind, because having different types of speakers with black piano finish from different manufacturers, I always finish with scratches like that after 1 or 2 weeks of use. So I don't really mind, because it is what it is. Let's take a look at the back. And by the way, the bottom plate is quite thick. Let's take a look at the back. Yeah. And in the back we'll have a sticker with details on the model. What's interesting, you actually have a serial number on both of the speakers. And we have speaker tabs, the same type that are common on the speaker amplifiers, on the clone amplifiers that I was reviewing for all these models. And we have separate tabs for high-end mid-range and for the bass driver. And they are using metal plates to connect them. This seems to be gold plated, and I would actually say that these small guys are better quality than I found on some well-renowned speaker brands. But still, I recommend to replace them with short runs of your favorite speaker wire. Yeah, so again, like that. I really like the look of the speaker. I like the size, I like the design, but it's, in a way, it's not a compliment to the Chinese manufacturer that made them, but it's a compliment for the Bowers and Wilkins that designed them. Yes, you can see that. These are piano black, so you can already see that I've touched the speaker here with my bare hand. Yeah. Okay. So we've seen them from the outside. Now let's move to the side, and I will show you how do they look inside. So let's pause the video, and I'll be back in a second. Again, never mind the mess in the background. It is what it is. Okay, so the bus driver has plastic surround like in smaller Oatlons, and you can just pull it out because it's pushed inside. The bus driver, the 8-inch driver, let's take a look at the sticker here. And these drivers and the crossover are actually using quite nice quality speaker wires. So what I've learned on the smaller Oatlons, you should never place the magnet on the chassis because you will scratch the box. Again, steel damped caskets. My recommendation and my first mod here will be obviously to dampen these with dampening mats, because this is just a steel pressed speaker basket. And I've unscrewed the crossover and it's over here. So let's take a look. You may have seen that crossover on the photos that I've posted in my YouTube social feeds some time ago. So we have 3 iron core inductors, coils, and I will measure them and I will give you the values in the video description because I'm going to replace them anyway. We have 1 air core coil here, and that one stays. We have 5 watts 3.3 ohm resistor here, quite nice quality. The second one is 4 ohms, also 5 watts, and we have a set of capacitors. We have some kind of Yontex capacitor, 2.7 microfarads, and this one will be replaced. I've already bought the replacements. I couldn't buy the coils replacements before I've measured them, but the caps are already here, and I will be replacing all of them with blue Jansens. Okay, so the second cap is 6.8 microfarads. We also have 4.7 microfarads in here, and we have 2 large 22 microfarads capacitors here that are branded with Evox, which was a surprise, nice surprise in a way. I haven't expected that. Evox caps are, let's say, mid-range caps. I mean, they are not as bad as some completely unbranded caps, but I will also be replacing them. All in all, the crossover is not bad. I mean, for $665, I would expect to see here some kind of electrolytic capacitors, etc. I definitely haven't expected to see air core inductor, and I would not expect to see any MKP caps at all. Yeah, the driver wire is quite nice actually. It's marked with something, but I can't read it right now. Oh, it says it's 99.99% pure copper HiFi speaker cable, and it says German, Wheeler German, OFC. Oh, well, interesting. So all in all, the wiring inside looks nice, and I will not be replacing that. So let's take a closer look inside. I think I'll need to use my light, so give me a second. Yeah, it's a very sunny day, so the contrast is high and you wouldn't be able to see much inside. Yeah. Okay, so we have filling mat inside. That's the one. It was actually placed quite nice around the inside of the speaker. I've done some mess here when I removed the crossover. You can see the bass reflex port over there. You can see that there are some small braces on the sides of the speakers, speaker sides. The front panel is quite thick. I think it's all in all it's something like 5 or 6 centimeters, like that here. It's hard to judge the thickness of the sides, other than with wrapping test. They seem to be solid and thick, but still having them like that leaves some room for improvement. I can use some dampening mats on the inside of the walls here. On that side you'll be able to see screws mounting the mid-range driver and the wiring going for the mid-range and for the treble drivers. And I think that's it. All in all, it looks quite nice. So let's place the bass driver over here again, so I will not scratch anything by accident. Give me a second. Okay, it's here. Now let's move to the mid-range driver. The mid-range driver is hard mounted in the middle. So at the beginning, in my first look video, I was slightly worried that this may be a fake, but then I've just listened to them closely and it actually plays as it should. This is Kevlar and it's outside mounted, meaning that there is no rubber suspension going over the Kevlar. Yes, so it's mounted by 4 screws with a hex nut at the top, and let's remove that one. Let's pause the video for a second. Yeah. Okay, so that was not a disaster, but I had to pause the video because I had to lose some length of the cable for the treble driver from the main speaker compartment in order to be able to lift the speaker. And that's the mid-range speaker. Yeah, looks like that. And what's interesting here is the finish here. I mean, you have to be careful when unscrewing or screwing the speaker, because you'll be able to damage the black piano finish. Some of the scuff marks, actually these two, came with the speaker. I don't think I've made any new ones here. If you take a look inside, you'll see again some polyfill. Let's remove that. It's just stuffed here, but it's a generous amount of polyfill. And as you can see, the walls are made from some kind of resin, so it looks like it's been handmade and then painted. And you can see the screws mounting into the lower part of the speaker, and you also can see 2 Phillips screws mounting the treble driver. And that's basically it. Not much to see other than that. So let's pause the video and get back to the first speaker, and I will tell you about the sound quality. And we're back for the sound quality description. Okay, so let's start with the bass. These large 8-inch drivers, oh, the cat is here. These large 8-inch drivers do excellent job in the bass. The extension is great and they hit really hard and really fast. You might think of them as of having 2 separate subwoofers, because they are large enough to be subwoofers, and some of the subs on the market are actually using 8-inch drivers. The stiff carbon fiber helps with the speed of the sound here. Okay, you can't see that, or can you? No, she's over there, she's hunting. Okay, so these drivers go really low and they do not have any kind of mid-bass bleeding into the mid-range. I love the bass lines on Lord's Supercut of Us, and these seem to be alive and flowing all around you with these speakers. So I really love the bass with these speakers. I am pretty sure that they go lower than 40 Hz. I'm not sure if the 40 Hz is given as a 3 dB limit, but if it is, then they will go lower, although they will be quieter in the lower regions. The mid-range. They have excellent mid-range. vocals are on the verge of being creepy, real-like with the small Oatlons. Remember in my review of the smaller Oatlons that I've told you that the vocals were almost creepy because sorry about that. Because with the smaller Oatlons you could actually feel and hear like there would be someone alive with you in your listening room. And these are bordering on having the same quality. They do not have the same quality, but they are bordering. In some of my tracks, in some of the setups that I've tested these speakers, they were very, very close to this uncanny effect of the smaller Oatlons. Okay. The mid-range is very detailed and very natural sounding. Chorus in Baba Yetru are at the same time detailed, like you can hear individual voices in the choir, but at the same time you can differ timbres, and you can hear that the male voices are being a little bit rougher than female voices, as they should be. With raising the volume, the mid-range can get a little bit tiring, but I'm betting that's because of the low quality caps in the crossover. Because it happened just on a few tracks and when I was listening really, really loud. Okay, moving on to the treble. These speakers are very open and transparent, probably due to the fact that this mid-range and treble driver construction. What I mean by that? The Morris and Wilkins designed the Nautilus speakers with such construction because it creates, in a way, a kind of point source for mid-range and for treble. You have no front plane all around here, and these create very open, very transparent soundstage and airy treble because of that construction. We'll get to the soundstage a little bit later. So anyway, the treble is airy, detailed, and it just flows all around you. There is no sibilance and no listening fatigue through the treble range, though this airiness may sometimes make them seem like they would be on the brighter side of things, but they're not. They're just very open and very, very transparent. Moving on to the detail. These speakers have excellent detail all across the board. The tweeter and Kevlar driver are doing superb job. One of the tracks that I use for detail and imaging tests is This Is Halloween from Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. Why? Because there is a lot of small things happening on the sides and in the back that with lesser speakers are very hard to follow, and sometimes you can't even hear them. They're there, but you can't hear them. And it's not the case with these speakers. You can hear all the small things. So I need to... The cat was damaging the couch. Okay, so moving on to the imaging and soundstage. The same track, meaning Halloween, This Is Halloween, from Nightmare Before Christmas, can be used to check for layering and positioning of different vocals, because some of them are really close, and only with good equipment you'll be able to spot the differences in layering front to back and side to side for the things that are happening close to the center. And you can with these. These speakers have rock solid natural sized center position and wide left and right imaging, though depth seems to be little random. Sometimes it's there and it's very good on some tracks, but sometimes it's not. And I'm not sure if this comes from the fact that the tracks might be a little bit different, or from the fact of these misalignments in plane of the treble, of the mid-range driver, and the axis of the treble driver. Okay, so moving on to my loose thoughts and my summary for the review. Again, $665 shipping included. I can't think of any speaker in this price range or even significantly higher, with significantly higher price, that would be close to this M3 Oatlons. They are very open, they are very fast, detailed and transparent, and on top of that, they have great bass. Again, like having two subwoofers in your room. They shine with powerful amps like Dart Zeal or Brewmaster 909 clones. Yes, they do have some problems with quality control. Yes, I will need to correct the position of the mid-range driver. I will need to correct the position of the treble driver. But have in mind that I've done the review with all the faults. I wasn't correcting anything before my listening sessions. I wanted to hear them as they are, even with those problems that are easy to fix. But the review should be honest, and the review should be about the speakers as they are right from the manufacturer. Okay, so I think that maybe the best recommendation for these speakers after hearing them is that I've bit the bullet and I've actually ordered something else that I'm gonna show you now. Yeah, let's search for them. Yeah, here they are. Yep. Can you see that? M10. Yeah. So the base price for M10, the larger brethren of M3, the asking starting price is whooping $2,700. Again, I've used some coupons. Again, I've used sale price from the last month's winter sale, but M3s sound so good, even with the crossover as it is, even with misaligned drivers, that I've decided to buy the larger ones. One of the things that helped were a few comments from you guys. Comments saying that M10 are really excellent. One comment stating that Jimi Hendrix visited one of you guys and left the room a mess after listening session. So I can believe that. After hearing M3, I've ordered M10, and that's the highest praise and the recommendation for these speakers I can give. So again, store links in the description. System setup description that I've used for this listening test for those speakers also in the video description. Coil measurements also in the description of the video. If you've liked that video and if it helped you to decide on buying or passing on these speakers, you're more than welcome to support my channel by buying me a beer. I'm a beer guy. And you can buy me a beer using super thanks via YouTube. That's also somewhere under the video here. And yes, stay tuned for more reviews from the pile up there. Yeah. Thank you guys, and I hope you'll have a wonderful day ahead of you. Bye.